Voidling Bound is a brand new game that just released June 9th and is similar to games such as Skylanders from way back in the day. And you encounter a lot of NPCs in this game, and the NPCs unlock several different things that you can do, such as hatching eggs, which hatching eggs gives you different stats for your voidlings, and it also allows you to get different variants to your voidlings. He can also allow you to breed your voidlings together, so you can take all the stats from your best voidlings and try and get them to one. Leon is the next NPC that you will encounter, and he is the most important NPC, giving you the ability to evolve your voidlings. Evolution in this game is a very big component, but each evolution comes with drawbacks of their own compared to the other one. He also gives you the ability to splice your voidlings together, so you can take all the best perks from your voidlings, regardless of the species, and put them onto one specific voidling. Just as an example, this was my voidling before, and then after splicing, you can change their looks, you can change their stats, their perks, and then the final NPC is Rachel, who isn't really that good. She gives you additional healing items throughout the game, but that's about it. There are two main kinds of missions in Voidling Bound. You have cleansing missions and then survival missions. This is the end of a cleansing mission. All the cleansing mission is a basic level. You're going to go in and progress through the level, fighting basic monsters and collecting items, and then at the end of the level, you will fight a boss. Throughout the level, you will encounter corruption, which are these purple blobs on the ground, which you have to destroy them most of the time in order to actually progress through the level. This is a survival mission, which is very simple. The only goal is to beat all the waves and then defeat the boss at the end of the mission. These bosses tend to be a little more difficult than your standard cleansing mission, but overall I would say that they're still not bad. Here, I've included some examples of things you find, such as the different mutagens, which you use to evolve your voidlings, and then collectible plants, which you use as essentially XP. You use that to increase your skill tree and things like that. And eggs. They typically are found just in nests. The final NPC is Michael, who just simply allows you to passively level up your voidlings while you're away doing missions. Voidlings have 4 abilities and an ultimate ability. Starting with Wagoon, his E allows him to throw a projectile, which damages enemies, and then teleport to the projectile. The left shift is a dodge, which gives him iframes and turns him invisible. His basic attack is where he just flings himself and explodes. The right click allows him to clone himself. Here you see I can clone myself 3 times, but you can do this I think up to 5 times. And then his ultimate ability is just more clones, except the clones are suicide bombers. Aname is another voidling I played through, and Aname is really good. She gets 3 dodges, and her ultimate is like a turret. She is very good in high stress situations because she has a lot of mobility, and her kit has a lot of versatility to it. She can throw this electric orb that will return to you like a boomerang. And her basic attack is just a basic blaster. I'm assuming if you put a lot of time into her perk tree that she would end up being extremely good. And Sek are a brawler type voidling, and they are extremely fun and hectic to play as, being one of my favorites that I encountered within the playthrough. They have the ability, using their ult, to switch between either who is a defensive voidling, or Sek, who is the combat-oriented voidling. It's a 2-in-1 essentially, but their kit is how you expect a brawler to be. You can charge into battle using his shift. You have a roar, which each one's roar is different. So who I'm playing now is and his roar gives you damage reduction, and then Sek's roar lowers the enemy's armor value, allowing you to just deal more damage. They both have different projectiles. Projectile is a linear, like, hoop that he puts on the ground, and Sek's projectile is more of a I don't even know what to call it. It's like a mortar shot. And they're not very complicated, but they are very fun to use. That was Sek's projectile, and I do not think I ever really use because the whole point of them is you are going to be using Sek for the most part, just doing your basic fighting, and then whenever you get low health, you go because he has a lot more survivability. This is a good example of how I believe and Sek are supposed to be used. So I go in, I do the damage reduction roar, then I swap to Sek to get a lot of DPS in while that is active. And I don't know if you can stack the roars, but I did another roar, so that way I'm reducing his armor. And then I got in and dealt as much damage as I could. But also in this clip, it showcases a good example of the different types of voidlings you have. So I have evolved him to be a primarily, I guess you would say, poison voidling, and that isn't effective against the robots, so I don't deal any damage towards them. Each element is good for something, and there is also one element I've found being plasma, which is effective against all enemies throughout the game. The second voidling you typically get, I believe, within the game is the Glick. The Glick he's pretty good. He has a shift ability, which basically just allows him to run and create like a fire wheel around him. He has like a belly flop ability. Doesn't really have a dodge. And then he just has a basic melee. I do not personally enjoy the Glick's playstyle very much, so I didn't really play with him all that much throughout my 10 hours of gameplay. But he's alright. He has cool evolutions, I will say that. Peck, who is the first voidling you get, this is a legendary Peck, and he had the ice tier. But Peck, for the most part, is just your very standard voidling. All he can do is shoot, and he has a basic dodge, and his ult is basically a mortar round, and then he has a large shot, which will leave like an elemental puddle on the ground, which does damage over time. Well, Peck, all in all, isn't my favorite voidling. I mean, he is the first voidling, and he's solid, but not my favorite. Carapan is one of my favorite voidlings in the game so far. Carapan can do a lot of different things. He can place down a shield, which is kind of his main ability. His attack, primary attack, is pretty basic. I mean, it's just a bolt, but you really can do a lot of cool things with him. For example, on this particular Carapan, if I fire more than, I believe it was 6 shots, the 6th shot will explode the enemy. Then you can combo that up with, say, a grenade throw, which is obviously a grenade. It's AoE, it's all those things. And his ult is pretty mediocre, but all in all, Carapan is an extremely solid voidling. On that note, I really hope everyone enjoyed this video. I know it was a bit short, and I hope you will tune in for future videos. Like and subscribe.